Mario's back on the Game Boy. 6 golden coins actually has more in common with Super Mario World than the first Mario Land. The graphics are a lot more recognisable, and Mario's got a more modern repertoire of moves like the spin jump. The token new power-up in this game is the carrot. Collect a carrot and Mario gets bunny ears. They're very much like the raccoon tail from Mario 3, except Mario can't actually fly, they're used to slow down his descent. It's still pretty cool to have though. The weird bouncing bullets from the first Mario Land have been jettisoned, and we go back to the good old classic fireballs here. A cute little touch is that Mario gets a feather in his cap when he collects a fire flower. I'm guessing it's because the poor old Game Boy couldn't change the colour of his clothes. So you've either got floating ability or attacking ability, you can't have both. One thing that stands out as different in this game is that Mario has complete control over which world he wants to go to. As the title suggests, there are 6 golden coins that he has to collect so that he can enter the castle of the game's new villain. More on him in a minute. But the world is an open book. You can choose whichever of the 6 coins you want to go after first. I remember loving this concept back in '92, it almost has a Mega Man kind of feel to it. Something else that's unique to this game is the eternal rule of Mario, which denotes that 100 coins equals a life. Doesn't apply here. Instead, Mario collects coins and spends them, where else? A casino! Gamble responsibly, kids. The gameplay in this game is really good, so much better than Mario Land 1. Although Mario has a slightly odd momentum to his running, the levels are well designed and extremely varied. Each level is completely individual in its challenges. Or, to be more precise, lack thereof. The biggest problem I have with Mario Land 2 is that the first 6 worlds of the game are all easy, ridiculously easy. Fun, definitely, but a cakewalk. The weird thing is, when you get up to the final level, it's really pretty difficult. It's longer than any other level and it has no midway restart point. I've lost so many lives trying to make my way through that frustrating castle, it hardly seems like the same game. With some perseverance though, you finally reach Wario in his throne room. Ah yes, Wario. This game was the first time the world was introduced to Wario, an evil and greedy man who seems like Mario gone wrong. According to the manual, Wario has been jealous of Mario's fame since they were boys, and he's tried to take Mario's castle many times. Wait, Mario's castle? Mario's a king? According to the game, this is Mario's own personal island complete with castle to rule. Right, well, none of that's ever been seen since. Wario sure has though. He's gone on to star in dozens of other games, including a couple of his own series, but this game was where he began. So, aside from the bizarre difficulty spike, the game is excellent. It's probably my favourite game on the original Game Boy, even though most of it is really easy. It's a pretty big game for a '92 handheld title, much bigger than Mario Land 1, and it's chock full of variety and fun. Definitely standing the test of time. I wasn't at all taken with the original Addams Family game. I found it borderline unplayable and insultingly difficult. This is the sequel, PUGSLEY'S Scavenger Hunt. It sure looks different, much more cartoony. It's actually a very good looking Super Nintendo game. Ocean did a great job with the graphics on this one. Sadly, they didn't do much about the gameplay or the difficulty. In fact, according to the Superplay interview, they tried to make Pugsley even harder than the original game. The problem isn't having a challenging game. I like a good challenge, but I like it to feel like I'm achieving something with skill. This game is just evil. It's like telling someone to cross a road without getting hit by a car, and then dropping a car on their head once they reach the other side. Oh, what's that? You weren't expecting that to be there? Too bad, try again. It's a shame because, as you can see, visually the game is excellent. But this one just does not stand the test of time. Look what I just downloaded on the 3DS eStore last week. I glanced at my list and realised that somehow I'd missed the original Kirby game. Anyway, I'll look at it now. It's a fun little game with great controls. It is, however, incredibly easy and incredibly short. It can probably be finished in about half an hour with a decent player barely breaking a sweat. I couldn't say it stands the test of time, but it still is a short bit of fun. So after the brief little experiment on the Game Boy, Kirby made his big time debut on the NES with the absolutely fantastic Kirby's Adventure. I reckon it's awesome that well into the lifespan of the new console, Nintendo was still making AAA titles for the old machine. Considering that Nintendo's only really got 1 or 2 games left for the Wii and its next console is another year away, you can see how differently things are run these days. Oh well, at least there's still Xenoblade. Oh, and The Last Story. Oh, and Pandora's Tower. They'll tide us over in the meantime. What's that, Americans? You're not getting those games? Oh, shame. Welcome to what it felt like to be a PAL gamer back in the 90s, missing out on this. And this. And this. And all of these. You know what? America is still in debt. I'll let you know what Xenoblade's like in a month or 2. Anyway, I'm supposed to be talking about Kirby. This little pink puffball stars in his own platformer that is almost definitely the most eye-poppingly colourful game on the system. It's easily the best looking 8-bit Nintendo game. Apart from some nasty slowdown in spots, it looks excellent, and Kirby is a great little character. He's got lots of personality. The levels are fairly short, although there's lots of secrets to be found, especially in some of the later levels. It's not as much a thinking game as Mario. The levels are more simplistic, but the fun comes from discovering all of Kirby's abilities and using whichever ones you want to. If you see an enemy with an ability you'd like, just suck them up and digest them. Bam! Their power is yours. Kirby has lots of transformations throughout the game, but a couple of my favourites are the backdrop, the laser, the wheel, and the almighty microphone. Awesome. The mysterious character Meta Knight appears at random intervals throughout the game, either tossing an invincibility item to you or setting other enemies upon you. It's not until you're near the end that you actually get to battle him in a one-on-one sword fight. He's another character that's gone on to some bigger and better things. I just learned that there was actually a Game Boy Advance remake of Kirby's Adventure. I have no idea how I missed this. From what I can gather, it's the exact same game, but it's got a lovely new lick of paint, and when Kirby gets an enemy's ability, he wears a new hat to show what power he's got. Nice. Nintendo does seem to be on a big Kirby push at the moment. There's the new Kirby TV channel on Wii, as well as the fantastic Epic Yarn game. Give that a go if you have the chance. And then there's Kirby Wii and the 3DS download game as well coming out soon. Could Kirby become as big as Mario in the future? Nah, probably not. Anyway, back where he began, Kirby's Adventure is one of the crowning jewels of the first Nintendo console. It's great fun. 2 pink thumbs up. Now this is an original game. You play as, well, God. With a little cherub as your earthly representative, you're in charge of guiding people to build towns and live prosperous lives. You tell them where to build, use some divine powers to remove obstacles, and use the cherub's trusty bow and arrow to get rid of pesky monsters. Sometimes though, the people just aren't strong enough to fight the baddies, so you come down to Earth and inhabit a warrior statue. This is where the game changes tone completely and goes from strategy, SimCity kind of game to a side-scrolling slash-em-up action game. You know, at first I didn't think I was going to like Actraiser. The side-scrolling parts are quite good, but not amazing. The sim parts seemed pretty simplistic, nowhere near as many variables as SimCity, that's for sure. On their own, each part would be okay, but not brilliant. Put them together though, and the result is surprisingly enjoyable. The more I played it, the more I was completely sucked into it. Each of the 5 different zones follow the same pattern. You play a side-scrolling level to rid the place of monsters. Then you play a sim level to start the town, listening to the people's woes and helping them clear their land. Then you play another side-scrolling level to eradicate some evil in their land, and then that zone can prosper in peace. It is a strange mix, but it actually does work, and I had a lot of fun with it. It's not perfect. The translation is pretty bad. Remaindered. And the text gets really repetitive. When the cherub told me, "I know it's unexpected," the 500th time, it wasn't that unexpected anymore! But Actraiser is definitely worth a play. So there's another week gone. Next week, it's a bit of puzzles, a bit of Disney, a bit of punchy stab, and a little bit of George Lucas. See you then. Peace out.